So I watched this video this morning, and I gotta say, part of me was shocked and part of me wasn't. And I'm gonna spoil the ending for you because the only advice that she gives as a vet behaviorist, as this expert in behavior, is to either hire a trainer because hey, you can't do it on your own, or just stop walking your dog in the first place. Let's get into this video. And Lisa, you can't call us slander and libel when it's proven to be true. I'm going to give you some psychology that she's not giving you, and I'm going to give you understanding, and I'm going to try to tell you about tools that you can actually invest in so you won't need to hire a trainer. Focus on the things that only you can do.
Thanks to everyone who sent in questions. This is our first.
And Lisa Radasta, by the way, once again, is the very president of the American College of Vet Behaviorists. This is what she's putting out.
Follower question. Why does my dog react to bicycles, motorcycles, and joggers when he's such a great walker otherwise?
So we have a dog that's only chasing moving targets. Why are moving targets a problem for the dog? Is she going to explain that?
And why does he do that in the car, too? Look, reactivity is a pandemic right now.
Yes, but are we going to get into it? The reason why? No. Reactivity and aggression was never a problem up until about 20 years ago. That's when it really started. I'm 54 years old. You're 55. I had dogs all my life. We never dealt with reactivity and aggression. I've never trained a dog in my life. I treated them as man's best friend. That's the reality. My dogs were always off leash. My dogs went fishing with me. Not a problem. Why is reactivity so bad right now and aggression so bad right now? Because 20 years ago, IGB dog trainers invaded the behavioral ring with all their freaking treats and clickers and tools and e-collars and containment like crates and muzzles. And they're all part of IGB dog training. That's the reality. That's what Lisa Radasta doesn't want you to know.
It is
And how many dog owners right now are living like hostages in their own homes? Do you know what that's a result of? It's called dog training. Dog training is having you work backwards. And Dr. Lisa is all about treats, okay? Treats and punishment, reward and punishment, put you into a transactional relationship. And it throws man's best friend in the garbage because the number one thing I hear from dog owners is I don't trust my dog. The reason why you don't trust your dog is that you're trying to become in a transactional relationship. It's also known as a toxic relationship.
everywhere, and there's a couple of reasons why this can happen. Basically, dogs can either be fearful of a sound or the environment or seeing something.
Now, the science behind that, the actual behavioral science behind that, is that negative reinforcements are the things to be concerned about in the environment, things that we avoid. Okay, in operant conditioning, I'm going to get into Lisa in operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is all about the first time you meet something in the environment. It's going to be either of negative consequence, which you're going to avoid, or it's going to be positive consequence, which you're going to want to do it again, or you're going to become indifferent to. Make it not a big deal. Become socialized.
can be genetically fearful.
And that's another big problem today because vets and behaviorists and trainers are always reaching for genetics. You look at aggression, there are a lot of people right now reach right for genetics to explain aggression. Well, the problem is there's a whole list of things that should be investigated first before you even come to genetics. Genetics is right at the very bottom of that list. That's the problem. But we're not investigating the list of things that cause fear and aggression.
Right? Just predisposed to that.
Now, what is fear? Again, what Lisa Radasta, I've never heard her talk about the limbic system. The limbic system controls all of your emotions, which control your behaviors. It's your emotions that are your very instincts that drive your behaviors. So when you meet something in the environment that you're not too sure of, that negative reinforcement, the thing that you're afraid of, is going to generate your behaviors of fight and flight. It's no different for humans and dogs. That's reality. Now, when you become afraid, the limbic system in your brain is going to send signals through your nervous system down to your adrenal glands to produce cortisol and adrenaline. So, cortisol itself is a stress hormone. It's what they actually call the fight and flight. Cortisol is the fight and flight response. It's the fight and flight hormone. But yet, for some reason, Dr. Lisa Radasta doesn't want to talk about this. It's the cortisol, the spike in cortisol and adrenaline that's causing the dog to go fight or flight. That's the reality. Fight, aggression, flight, reactivity, avoidance. That's what fight and flight response is. And when your dog is in fight or flight, that is your positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is the removal of negative reinforcement.
You can just have a strong chase instinct.
Imagine a German Shepherd wanting to chase cars. Imagine a German Shepherd wanting to chase bicycles or joggers. There's a reason for it because those dogs tend to be very frustrated because they never get to chase in the first place. Number one tool I tell dog owners to invest in is a remote control car, something that hauls ass. You find a contained field and you get your dog chasing flat out, a German Shepherd chasing flat out on a remote control car. They're actually getting the chase out of their system. They're blowing out the mental lines. They're actually expressing their genetics. That's what dog owners need to start doing instead of doing all control and management. When all you're doing is control and managing your dog, like a German Shepherd, they need to get out and chase. You're going to frustrate that dog. The very control and management that you're applying to your dog is frustrating them because they want to get out and chase, and you're not letting them.
To chase things. They can also.
And flirt poles are also wonderful. You can get on Amazon.com and buy yourself a basic lunge whip for 20 or 30 bucks. You tie a plastic bag to the end of that thing, and now you got a flirt pole. And the flirt pole is the number one tool that saves pit bull owners' lives. Pit bulls' lives. We got to stop killing dogs for this garbage. That's the reality. Get on YouTube and look up pit bulls and flirt poles. And let me tell you something. Once you get your dog enjoying a flirt pole, it's going to take a lot of the behavior issues down because they're going to blow out the lines. The big problem for pit bulls today, they're not getting enough proper exercise. They're not getting breed-specific exercise. They got to blow out the lines. If they can't blow out the mental lines once in a while, they're going to blow, and there's your aggressive dog.
Have had trauma, okay? And then that is coming back as fear, which is then causing that reactivity.
But the problem is, what is causing the reactivity in the first place? That's the big old increase in cortisol and adrenaline. But yet Dr. Lisa Radasta knows this. She has to know this. She's a vet. This is part of the endocrine system. But why is she killing dogs for cortisol and adrenaline response? That's the question I've got. Why are vets killing dogs for a hormonal response to something in the environment, an emotional hormonal response to something in the environment? That's what the natural behavior is. The same in humans and dogs, but we're not euthanizing human beings for aggression. B.F. Skinner would tell you point blank to replace your dog with a human child and ask you what you would do different. It's no different for humans and dogs.
So why are dogs worse in the car or on the leash when they might be pretty good walkers otherwise, or maybe they're better when they're in their yard or in a dog park? Here's why. Because when they're on a leash or in the car, they are trapped. Okay, so whether your dog is excited.
Yes, you're taking away the dog's positive reinforcement. When a dog is the positive reinforcement is in actuality the removal of negative reinforcement. So there's a whole lot in the environment that the dog never gets to investigate. So it stays in negative reinforcement. Okay? So the first time the dog sees a skateboard, if they're scared of it, they're always going to be scared of it unless you give them the chance to rationalize through that fear to make them understand, to let them understand, and let them investigate the thing to let them understand that it's not a big deal. That's the reality. But she's going to tell you to keep consistently avoiding all of the targets, and it's not doing you any favors.
Or scared, there is a neurochemical.
There you go, neurochemical response. What is that neurochemical response? It's your limbic system in your brain that you won't talk about sending signals to your adrenal glands to increase cortisol and adrenaline. And let me tell you something. When you turn around and you spay and neuter a dog for reactivity or aggression, that's going to light a fire on the adrenal glands because now you're taking a dog that's running hot on cortisol and adrenaline, and now they have to start producing sex hormones. Because it's the only other organ in the body that can produce that little bit of sex hormone that the dog still needs. And you just lit a fire underneath the adrenal glands, didn't you? And that leads to a whole lot of bad stuff. And again, Lisa Radasta is not talking about this.
Response with that, okay? And that is causing the brain to get activated.
It's not the brain to get activated. It's the limbic system of the brain. The brain doesn't care about the environment. The brain is only taking care of the body. That's it.
In such a way that it remembers things very well. Your dog wants to chase after the bicycle because he likes to chase things. But he's on the leash.
Imagine a German Shepherd wanting to chase things. If you're holding back your dog saying no, 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 you're actually trying to punish the friggin' genetics out of a dog. The very control and management that you're employing on the dog is causing the frustration, that's causing the chase instinct to kick into overdrive. That's the reality. A lot of dogs, when they get so frustrated to the point that they just gotta go, they're not thinking anymore. And if they get off that leash, that's when bad things really happen.
With you. And he hasn't been taught to sit still or look at you when a bicycle goes by.
Yeah, ignoring targets. That's the reality. What she's talking about here is rationalization, but the problem is they're telling you instead of letting your dog sit there and rationalize to try to calm down and understand that nothing bad is happening, she's going to tell you to reward and punish the dog, whether she realizes it or not. Okay?
So he does what dogs do. He runs after the bicycle. And the leash gets really tight, right? And that increases frustration because he wants to do the thing, but he can't do the thing.
That's the very reason for the frustration, because it's control and management. Don't let your dog chase anything. It'll cause prey drive. That's what trainers are telling people. This needs to stop. Go out and buy yourself a remote control car. Go out and get a lunge whip and give it a try.
But no one ever taught him to do anything else.
They're always trying to teach a dog. That's piss poor. I cannot teach a dog how to be a dog. Only dogs can teach dogs how to be a dog. Human beings need to teach human beings how to be human beings. But even that's questionable if they can do that today.
And that frustration is reinforced over time.
There you go. If you don't let your dog get out and express their genetics, it's going to be reinforced over time. The cause is the what's leading to an effect. Effect, behaviors, their symptoms, their outcomes of problems. What's the cause? The cause is that you're not letting your dog express their genetics in the first frickin' place. And guess what? If you don't address the cause, the effect is going to start growing heads. And this is why behaviors start getting worse and worse and worse, because you're trying to shut down behaviors. And shutting down behaviors, stopping behaviors, especially with tools, is nothing but punishment. Skinner himself said the very man that this woman blames for the quadrants of dog training will tell you point blank that the punishment is the reverse of reinforcing. You're actually trying to remove a behavior from an animal's repertoire. That's the reason why we got so many problems today. That's the reason why so many dogs are showing aggression today. That's the reason why so many dogs are showing reactivity today. Because we're not letting the dog be a dog. We're not letting the breed be the breed. They don't have a purpose. If you got a Aussie Shepherd or a German Shepherd, they're not going to be happy as a couch potato sitting in your fucking living room.
The more that he sees the bicycle and he feels the tight leash, whether he's pulling forward or you're...
Yeah, it's that instinct, isn't it? It's the instinct to chase. That's the reality. But you keep pulling back. You keep controlling. You keep saying, no, no, no. You're not allowed to do what you were bred to do. And people wonder why we got problems.
tightening up.
You got some explaining to do, lady, and I'm telling you right now, you can only hide for so long. You can only ignore me for so long. At some point, as the president of the American College of Vet Behaviorists, you're very high profile, and at some point, you need to come out and start addressing this garbage.
The more we are going to see the frustration build.
The more you're causing frustration. You're causing frustration because the dog is not getting to express their genetics, right, Lisa? But this is not going to be helping your wallet at all.
And every single time your dog does that thing of lunging at something, he is practicing that behavior. That behavior is growing strong.
It's a result of the limbic system. It's the limbic system that is driving this. For some reason, Lisa doesn't want to talk about the limbic system. There's a mind in the brain. Or the mind in the limbic system. The mind has no play in your limbic system. What you think and feel has no impact on how you're going to behave.
Stronger, and it's a lot harder to fix.
It's easy to fix. Get your dog out chasing. You let them start expressing their genetics, and you do it consistently. Take 2 or 3 days a week, and you get your dog out into a field, and you let your dog that was bred to chase things, let them chase that remote control car. And then come back and tell me. And you let them chase that until they're tired and completely satisfied. Then you take that dog for the same walk and come back and tell me how many behavioral issues you have. But that's not convenient, is it, Lisa?
There's lots of different ways to treat reactivity.
The problem is you're trying to treat reactivity. Reactivity is not a condition at all. It's the outcome of a problem. It's a symptom. Cesar Milano's been saying that for the last 30 years. Reactivity and aggression are not conditions that you can fix in the first frickin' place. They're responses. Your limbic system's your body's response to something in the environment. That's all it is.
However, we always start with avoidance.
Avoidance. There you go. Avoid the triggers altogether. Avoid the triggers altogether. You know, you can look, but you can't touch. This is where lack comes in. Look at that. Don't look over there. Look at me. Focus on me. That's the problem.
If you do not avoid the things that cause your dog to react, your chance of helping your dog significantly goes down to near 0%.
Now here's where we got to get into psychology. Number one thing that dog owners need to learn, just stop and do nothing. Let your dog rationalize. The problem is, dog trainers are taking away the dog's very ability to rationalize. So when you're in the face of something negative in the environment that you don't know about, it's a negative reinforcement. As a human being, you need to stand there and go, you know what, is this thing worthy of being afraid of? Can I just put it in the not a big concern bucket? That's the reality. But people like Lisa Verdost are telling you to reward and punish your dog. You're going to stand between something in the environment is literally punishing your dog that you don't understand. But now they're going to tell you to stand in front of the dog and start rewarding and punishing the dog for things that you don't understand going on in the environment. And people wonder why this crap doesn't work. So stand there, do nothing, close your eyes, breathe. Let your dog bark it out. Let them get it out of the system. They can only stay in that state for so long. They're going to calm down at some point. They're going to look at you going, how come you're not reacting with me, first of all? And then they're going to look at that thing and go, oh, okay, you know what? That's not a big deal. It's not a negative. I'm not getting hurt. There's nothing bad happening here. This is called rationalization. But most dogs today do not get the chance to learn to rationalize. It's the very skill that they need that's being taken away because you're blocking them from rationalizing.
Why? Because you already have a behavior that's been practiced so much that it's really strong.
That's the problem, and this is why they say, well, aggression's for life, reactivity's for life. Reactivity and aggression can take years to overcome. No. Aggression is a response to cortisol. Reactivity is a response to cortisol. Right? The limbic system is the control center for all of your emotions, which are actually your instincts that drive all your behaviors. Lisa Radasta, as a vet, should understand the endocrine system. She should understand all this, but for some reason she doesn't want to talk about it.
And if you continue to expose your dog, he's going to continue to practice that.
That's the whole thing. Now she's saying, you know what, just avoid the triggers altogether. You're not letting your dog rationalize. She's telling you, do not let your dog rationalize. Avoid the trigger. Walk away. Move away. Dogs need to understand what they're looking at. So if the dog is scared of skateboards, when I'm working with a dog that's scared of skateboards, I'm going to ask whoever's on the skateboard, can you stop and dismount and let my dog check this out? And I'm going to bring them over. I'm going to let them rationalize through it. They're going to have a big old smell, realize it's not a big deal, and all of a sudden skateboards start becoming not a big deal. And they stop reacting to the skateboard. That's the reality. But they need exercise. They need to get rid of all that mental stress that they're carrying through proper exercise that engages the breed. The chase. Once you do that, once you have a tired and satisfied dog, get them out in the environment and go for a walk. Just be calm. And you come back once again and tell me how many behavioral issues you have. But for some reason, Dr. Lisa doesn't want to promote tools that can actually work for you because it doesn't make her money.
No matter what you're doing on the back end, teaching new behaviors or counter-conditioning.
Teaching new behaviors or counter-conditioning. Teaching new behaviors is abnormal behaviors. There's abnormal behaviors, there's normal behaviors. Abnormal behaviors are things that the dog wouldn't ordinarily do. I've never seen a dog look at a set of agility poles and say, hey, I'm going to weave through those. That's an abnormal behavior that needs to be trained. But the problem is you're trying to train normal behaviors. And normal behaviors are not trainable. You cannot train your dog to behave because they are all hormonal.
Your dog still...
Counter-conditioning is Pavlov. The only thing that Pavlov had to work with was a conceptual nervous system. And the results of dealing with a conceptual nervous system is not psychology at all. Okay? Neurology. The scientific field of neurology never really took off until the 60s. Neuroscience never really took off until the 60s. Pavlov was long dead by then. But now we got to get into Skinner. And he's not convenient. You're lying about B.F. Skinner.
Practicing an already strong behavior. You must pull back and avoid.
You must pull back and avoid. Keep on controlling and managing that dog. They should be out chasing something. Every breed exists to do something, and 95% of breeds out there exist to chase something. You got hunting dogs, you got sled dogs. Pomeranians are sled dogs. So if you got a frustrated Pomeranian, put a harness on a cart behind them. That's what they're bred to do. Let them do it. Okay? Tracking dogs are chasing. Bird dogs are chasing. Retrievers are chasing. But they never get that chase. They're not going to be happy being a couch potato. But she's telling you point blank, pull back and avoid, at minimum.
Avoid at minimum. That's the first step. Then you can decide if you want to work with a positive reinforcement dog trainer.
There you go. Hire a trainer, because you can't do it on your own. This is what's going on today. This shit needs to stop. Dog owners, focus on the things that only you can do. Only you can be calm. Only you can get your dog proper breeder-specific exercise. Go out, instead of spending money, pissing away money on dog trainers and vets and behaviors, go out and buy yourself, invest in a decent remote control car. Find a contained area and let your dog chase it until there's nothing left, until they're tired and satisfied.
Professional and you want to try to work on those behaviors, or if you just want to play with your dog in the backyard and
quit walking your dog altogether. So the only two options, I just gave you a whole bunch of options. Be calm and let your dog choose to join you in calm. Be the change that you want in your dog and get them some proper freaking exercise. She never once mentioned that. But she's saying point blank, either hire a trainer because you can't do it on your own, or don't walk your dog at all. This is the advice that dog trainers are giving you. And if you don't get your dog some exercise, if you're not walking your dog, if you're only containing the dog to the house in the backyard, you're creating this tiny environment now. And it's going to frustrate the dog even more. The dog needs exercise, but you're not even allowed to go for a walk now. Have a good day. This shit needs to stop.